Hey everyone, Riyaz here with 3D Crystal and Cockpit 3D. So today's going to be an interesting one, I think. It's a little different than the normal TTCs that I do. I call them TTCs, talk to cameras. Today I'm actually talking to Lawrence. Now, usually when I'm doing these episodes, I am generally talking about how awesome the 3D Crystal business is. My focus is really in building the industry and educating those that are currently already in it, or those that perhaps want to get into selling the 3D Crystal product, or really any product for that matter. I wanted to invite Lawrence today, and I wanted to actually have a conversation with Lawrence because I think it's important that beyond me speaking about the product and really how totally cool it is, that we have someone that heard my message, and isn't camera shy, because many people hear my message, but many are a little camera shy or not comfortable going on camera. But someone who can actually tell us a little bit about their story after seeing what I was talking about and trying things out. He's achieved some awesome success on the product, and I wanted to introduce him. So Lawrence, actually, just before I let you tell us your story, I just wanted to tell all of our viewers a little bit about you. So Lawrence is a software guy. Okay, he's a smart software guy. He's been selling softwares for the last 25, 30 years. Is 30 years, you'd say?
Yep.
Okay, cool. 15 different companies. And you've come to the 3D Crystal world.
How? Well, I was watching the hockey game one evening on TSN, which is a sports network, and there was a commercial, and that's where I first saw Riyaz doing a commercial with one of the broadcasters of the station, and basically Riyaz had provided some 3D crystals to the network as a corporate procurement. And the network is basically doing a commercial with Riyaz to talk about that. And it caught my attention. It caught my attention so much that the next day I went online and I found Riyaz's website and I reviewed everything. And within 1 hour, I'm making a purchase. And the reason I'm making a purchase is that in a week's time, my brother's 50th birthday party was happening. My brother is one of my biggest fans and supporters. 50 is a big birthday. So I wanted to do something special. I thought, you know what? 3D Crystal. My brother and I, it's a tradition. We go fishing every year, into God's country. And we've got many, many pictures. So I found, a picture of him with the biggest northern pike he's ever caught. Very proud. Guys are proud of their fish and their cars. And I got that done in the 3D Crystal. Now, here's the thing. This product is very intoxicating with a good hangover because I actually placed another order the next day, even before I got the first order. I ordered something for my wife for her desk, with my 2 kids. So I placed the second order even before I got the first order. So there you go. I caught the bug.
Awesome.
I caught the bug.
Cool. That's
so. Go ahead, Riyaz. Go ahead. So that's how I got into it. Go ahead.
Some of the most successful wholesalers are actually those that purchased the product and were consumers first, right? So, I mean, we're always looking for people that are the most successful, those that are excited about the product. And I always say, if anyone really wants to get into this business, go to our website, buy it, and experience it. And that's really the best test to know whether this business is for you.
Well, the plot thickens. I was at a crossroads in my career. I think 15 enterprise software companies was enough. And I was looking for a change. I'd reinvented myself a few times within IT, but it was time to reinvent myself outside of IT. And being a software technology guy, I thought, wow, how am I going to do this? I've got all these skills. How can I apply them? So, excuse the pun, but I tested the waters with the fishing picture crystal of my brother for his 50th. There was a big family party. So this is pre-pandemic, okay? Just so you all know, we were allowed to have a party pre-pandemic. And I kind of set the stage and pumped up this gift that I'm going to present and made a big deal of it, hoping I wouldn't have egg on my face. And basically, everybody's looking forward to seeing this special gift. And I put it in a different room, had it on the light base, all shined up and ready to go. I just wanted to get an organic reaction from about 15 people of different walks of life and age and backgrounds. Okay? So I just put the product out there with my brother with his big fish, and just sat back and watched my entire family huddle around that crystal, oohing and awing. Okay. And this was the kicker, because I thought to myself, do I want to go into this business? But here's the kicker. My father, not a businessman, not an entrepreneurial bone in his body, he pipes up and says, that would make a good business. That was it. Awesome. I contacted Riyaz, and it went from there.
You know, I'll tell you that I think a lot of people are in a day job, and they're looking for something beyond that, something better to do. And I found this as well. I worked corporate for several years, and it's almost like golden handcuffs, right? It's like, you've got that comfortable job. It's, many times, 5 days a week, you leave the job, you don't have really anything to think about with regards to it. Many times a little lure. I mean, I remember getting stock options and what have you, and they mature 5 years later, and so that's kind of the golden handcuff, because you're waiting for it to maturity, and by that time they give you more options, right? So you're there, and before you know it, 25 years have passed, and you're that's it, time for retirement. So,
and you were living on an airplane, yes.
Exactly. So it's almost like it's difficult to kind of break out of to take that risk, but that's kind of what I love about this. And I would never, ever be out here marketing or peddling a concept if I didn't experience the success myself, or I didn't see others experiencing the success such as yourself. So, I think that what's important is that when we're sharing all of this, that we have people like yourself here to tell their story, because it adds reality to people. Start, those that for those of you who are watching right now, you start seeing a real life scenario or case study, call it, of someone that has kind of taken that step, left their comfort zone, taken the risk to start their own business, which is just so awesome, because once you're bitten by that entrepreneurial bug, it just doesn't end. So Lawrence, maybe you can just share a little bit about, okay, so I remember that phone call, we spoke, you decided that you were going to proceed, you went through with it, then what happened then? Tell me a little bit more.
Yeah, so I decided to set up a retail store location, where there's a lot of foot traffic, let's just call it my retail store. So the first exercise was the samples. I knew I had so many samples as part of my startup kit that I could have made, and I had to be strategic about that, really think about that. So I used a lot of family photos and friends, not just family, but also friends, along with some stock photos that you provided, because having varied ethnicity is important. You can't just have all one ethnicity, and having some, elderly. So you helped me round out my sample kit. But here's the thing, I put my son with his prom date in a crystal. I put my kids 18 years ago in a crystal. I put myself with one of my trophy fish, by the way, bigger than my brother's, just for the record, in a crystal. And I can speak to those samples in my store. I can point to them. That's me with that fish. Those are my babies 18 years ago. And it's organic. It comes from the eye. So that was the first exercise, is what am I going to do for samples? And then, collateral, of course you have to have business cards, but then I thought, I'm going to spend some money on some nice trifold brochures. People want something a little bit more tangible to walk away with. Business cards get lost. They just get tossed on the counter, whereas a trifold kind of hangs around a little bit longer. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I didn't want to cheap out and just put one baby toe in the water and kind of do it half. So you know what? I'm diving in. I got to spend some money. Everybody does when they start a business. And I got to go for it with the right collateral and the right samples. So that was kind of the launch point for me, as far as what first main decisions I had to make. Also, if you recall, you and I spoke in November, and I wanted to catch Christmas. Sure. So I only had a few weeks to really mobilize and get my act together.
Okay, so now you've been doing this for long enough. You've done thousands of customers. I mean, what are some of the what do you enjoy most? What do you enjoy most about this? But not only that, let's talk about, two sides of this. What do you enjoy most about this business? But I'm also very curious to know, and by the way, for anybody watching this, this is completely unscripted. So, I hope you'll, what I'm asking Lawrence, he's going to say before I even know it. So I want to know, Lawrence, from you is, what do you love most, but also what are some of the challenges? What don't you like about what you're currently doing in this business with 3D crystals?
Yeah, I mean, what I love most, I mean, my prior career, I was, selling software that may work, may not work, may work with 10 times more professional services. So there wasn't a lot of gratification beyond getting the deal and maybe getting some commission. I never saw, really what happened to the product, but I would definitely hear war stories and horror shows. So there wasn't a lot of warm fuzziness to what I used to do. But when I had my first customer, now in my scenario, about 75% of my customers would come back to my store to pick up their orders the following week. Some we would have them drop ship with courier within 3 to 5 days, but others were more than happy just to come back to my store and come see me and pick it up physically, which is great. So what I like best is when they break into tears, and it can be tears of joy when you're doing a memorial for a lost pet or for a loved one or for a deceased father or mother. I learned quickly I have to have a box of Kleenex in my store, and that touched me. Is because it helped people with closure. They were tears of joy. It just helped people honor their loved one. So that gave me a good warm feeling. The second thing that I love is when a customer would come to pick up an order and then purchase another one right on the spot. I mean, there's nothing better. They ooh and awe about the finished product in front of all the other people in my store, by the way. And then they make another order.
That's an instant endorsement for sure.
And some of them, I mean, I've got customers, they've bought 5 times over within 1 calendar year. And that's great. I mean, I've got one customer, he purchased for Christmas 14 sun catchers or Christmas ornaments, if you will, for his Christmas tree. Christmas is very important in his home. It's traditional. And he's going to come back to me every year to add to the 14. So, I mean, that warms my heart. And I'll just tell one more story, which is quite interesting and actually contributed to a lot of my success because it gave me a good idea. I had this elderly woman come into my store with a big envelope, not a smartphone. I thought, okay, this is going to be interesting. She placed 6 little pictures on my table of dogs, her past dogs and a couple of her present dogs. And she said, I want all of my babies in that crystal over there. Can you do it? I said, okay, have a walk, come back in 10 minutes. Now, here's where my past career comes into play. I'm very good on the computer. I'm very good manipulating files and images and such. I created my first 3D crystal collage of her 6 dogs. But here's what I did. I made it twice. I made a vertical version and I made a horizontal version. Why? Because I wanted to give the customer the choice of which one she liked best on the condition that I could keep the one she didn't want as a sample in my store. Because guess what? Whenever somebody comes to my store and says, can you combine photos? I point to the crystal collage. And she was a repeat customer and came back many times. So
no, that's awesome. In fact, this story about producing the collage is powerful because they're actually getting some sort of a visual of what it's going to look like before they put their money down. And average transactions are quite high too on this product. So you want to do that. I have some. It's interesting. We have the eldest wholesale partner of ours is like 83 years old, and then you have the younger ones, which are really really good on their iPhone.
Let's just say I'm somewhere in the middle.
Sure. And on both ends, they're using the iPhone and the latest apps to actually combine images and show them to customers. So it's really really cool, very interesting. Okay, so what about areas that people always say, what's the catch? I could be out there handing a gold brick out to someone and they won't take it because they'll be suspicious of there being a catch. Maybe there's a tracker inside and they're going to take that gold brick to their home and know where they live. And I mean, there's always people always feel there's a catch. Okay, so I'm here. I believe that I'm sharing. This is against most logic, sharing all the, call them secrets of how we did what we did. What works, what doesn't work. But still, there's those that are going to say, what's the catch? And so I want to ask you, what was the catch, or what are the challenges that you faced that you just didn't like?
Yeah, I guess the first challenge was to, and this goes for any business, is to establish trust, because I'm not producing the product on the spot. the customer's not walking away with the crystal that day. Okay. They're going to get it within a week if they come back and see me, or within 3 to 5 business days if we drop ship. So to establish the trust that, yes, okay, you can give me a down payment and you can give me the balance on delivery, or if recurring, you got to pay me up in full. So that was a bit of a challenge, but because I was at the same location and people would frequent that establishment, and they'd see that, okay, he's still there. And then here's the other thing that I learned, and I didn't do this purposely, but it worked out really well psychologically. Because I had most of my customers coming back to collect their orders, I'd have them all prepared in my company branded bags, all lined up across one of the walls of my store en masse. So if a customer came in the store and they see all these bags, I can say things like, these are all the orders from last week. And that validates me. It validates that I'm going to be here. It validates that other people trusted in the process. So that's one thing. The second thing is, I learned this quickly. You want to be strategic with your pricing, more specifically your bundling, okay? Because there are add-ons and there are options, okay? There's the crystal itself, but then there's the light base option, which is an option, but you really kind of want to have it because it brings out the best in the product. So at the beginning, I was pricing the light bases separately. So the client would ask, how much is this? And I would give them a price. And then they'd say, oh, what about the light base? And I'd say, well, that's extra. Didn't go over too well necessarily. So to them, that was the catch, is now I'm trying to gouge them, for lack of a better term, on the light base. So I learned quickly, you know what? Bundle it into the base price. Don't even make it a conversation. Okay, that's the price. You get the light base. End of story. So, the whole, and in certain forums, people want to barter, they want to try to negotiate. So it just kind of took that off the table.
Brilliant. So you touched on a few things there, actually. You talked about trust. You talked about bundling products. I think that there's a lot, and I know we wanted to keep this to like 10 minutes. So I'm wondering, I think that what we should be doing is sharing some information, on what makes a good bundle, or on, how do you establish trust? How do you close the deal? You're awesome in selling. I've actually seen you in action. And so the way that you close the deals and you make the sales, I think that would help not just people that are selling the 3D Crystal product, but any entrepreneur. So, I mean, maybe what we can do is we'll end this particular session here, but I would love to have you back.
Well, let's throw out a teaser. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but it came to the point where I had people lined up outside my store, waiting up to 30 minutes to come sit down with me and create a crystal collage, because they saw me doing it with other clients while they waited. So it was an interactive experience. We did it collaboratively. I would turn my screen, pre-COVID, or shine with a projector, say, look, here's how I'm going to do it. Do you like it? It would be a collaborative experience. We're creating this art together. And that helped establish the trust as well, because we were doing the creation together. So there's just a teaser for another subject to talk about.
Yeah, because everybody wants that lineup outside their store. Okay, in masks obviously, but they want that lineup. So I'm going to invite you back. How's that sound?
Sounds great.
For those of you watching, if this was of benefit to you, send me some comments. Click on that thumbs up, subscribe, like, and share. That way you'll know every time we launch a new video or decide to go live. Right? Thanks so much, Lawrence.
Thanks, Riyaz. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Anytime.